timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his fifth! 13! 13! Can you believe it?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Locker Room Podcast. I'm your host, Oliver. As always, joined by our mystery man. I nearly forgot, Sharpy.
Not mysterious.
So mysterious. Only mysterious for a couple more weeks, I reckon. We've got our pre-NBA draft big board, whatever you want to call it. Now, we're both going to give our opinions, and then we're going to come to a combined one. So, obviously, Sharpy's the more educated about college basketball. I've based mine off what I've heard from pods, limited highlights. So I might be way off compared to Sharpy, but if you're going to take anyone's word for it out of these two, it's probably Sharpy. But we'll go first pick. Now, I would be surprised if we have a difference here. Who do you have going first?
I got Jabari Smith out of Auburn going number one to Orlando.
Well, I've got him as well, but what do you think makes him go number one?
He's one of the best shooting bigs in the draft, I reckon. He can make case of being one of the best shooters in the draft as well. Yeah, I reckon he has potential to be a creator for Orlando. I can see him and Mo Bamba working well on the court together, but I'm just a bit worried about how Orlando could stifle his potential because they suck.
He's probably one of the most NBA ready players as well. Like looking at him and I'll get onto it earlier, but him and Paolo kind of look like they're the main ones that are just ready for the NBA right now. But also like you've seen, I don't know if you've seen it, but he's already interacting with Orlando players on what's he doing it on?
Twitter.
But the main worry I did have for a little bit is the relationship between Chet and Jalen Suggs, is it? I think it is. They both went to a high school in Minnesota.
And they both went to Gonzaga.
Yeah. And they're very close. So I'm just wondering whether maybe they take Chet, and that would be a very big surprise. But so do you reckon the fit with Orlando would be good, or do you think it's a bit of a worry? Because like they've got who stood out last year? Who was playing well for center? I forget his name, not Bamba.
Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah, he even played well. Like they've got a lot of bigs that are good, and they've obviously got Cole Anthony and Suggs. Obviously and
then Wagner as well.
Obviously the top 3 and 4 is kind of set, but do you think that Jabari is the best fit for Orlando?
Yeah, I think.
The first 4?
17 points, 7 rebounds, 42% from 3. I think that's making a strong case at being a player that Orlando needs.
And he's up there with AJ Griffin is probably the best, as you said, probably the best 3-point shooter in the class. So we'll put down Jabari Smith as our number one. I'll be covering this, whether Sharpy will be joining us or not on Friday. I'll be keeping track of it when we do a live pod on Friday for the draft. Jabari Smith first. All right, who you got second? To OKC, of course.
Yeah, and you're going to be happy with this. I got Chet.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga to OKC. I think 14 points, 10 rebounds, 3.5 blocks, shooting 39% from 3. This is a special prospect. I reckon no one can affect a game on both sides of the floor defensively. Like on both sides of the floor, sorry. Defensively, he'll be elite to watch in the NBA, and he'll be able to anchor a defense, which is what Oklahoma need at the 5 spot, I reckon. He's a player that can dribble the ball up the court and pull it from 3, but and people were saying, he's not strong enough, but despite his strength, he can still get to the rim and finish at a high level. So.
And like you look at it, we have no one at center, let alone a good defensive center. But with him at center and Lou Dort, who's a good perimeter defender, and especially with Dagnott, who who's not afraid to drag players if they're not like last year. Trey Mann got dragged quite a bit because he wasn't putting in effort on defense, even though he was playing well offensively. He would just drag him and let him know that he wasn't playing defense. And then you'd see later on in the year players would start buying into it. So, and OKC at one stage were like a top 15 defense last year. So it wouldn't surprise me, hopefully, if we get Chet, that we go top 10. But one thing that like I like this reference now because I've been listening to it most this year, but hasn't been a draft since I've been using this word. But the highest ceiling, he probably has the highest ceiling out of the top 4 draft picks, but he also probably has the lowest floor, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, like he could easily be the best player out of this draft. And I feel like there's comparisons to like, I've seen comparisons to Rudy Gobert defensively and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of people saying that if he doesn't reach his full potential and he makes that like next tier of his, falls into the second tier of his potential, that he would still be a 3-point shooting Rudy Gobert. And hypothetically, if that's the case, I don't think you can go wrong. What I do find interesting though is that he's not giving his medical details to all the teams. So I think that do you think there's a bit of not foul play going on there, but do you reckon he's just trying to navigate where he wants to go?
Yeah, I think that's probably the case. It's a bit weird that to be honest, I thought Gonzaga would have just given it. I thought they're the ones that are in charge of all that stuff, and they just give it to the teams. But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know the teams he has given it to.
Yeah.
That's probably been Oklahoma and Orlando.
Yeah, I would hate to see him go to Houston. I dislike Houston with, like, I'm very passionate about it, that I hate them. But no, I'd hate to see him go to Houston. But I think we can all agree that him and Jabari should be 1 and 2. I've seen a lot of people say that recently, that Paolo, and we'll get onto others, but Paolo should be number 1. But that I'm guessing that's where we're going with pick 3. We'll go to pick 3. Is it Paolo for you?
Yeah, Paolo for me, definitely. I think.
What do you think on the fit?
Yeah, it's a good fit. And his ability to score on all 3 levels with consistency, can handle the ball, run the offense. Should put him as an early favorite for Rookie of the Year, I reckon. He's still got a lot of room to improve. No, not a lot, but I think he still has some room to improve defensively. Probably the more safer option for Houston.
Yeah.
And probably the safer option for anyone really. But for Houston, I think they're going to have their potential franchise player in him.
And matching him and Jalen Green is going to be.
Yeah. And maybe, but like also you got Josh Christopher there. Maybe, hopefully Şengün can get some more minutes at center now. Yeah,
that would be unreal to watch. But the one thing you got to think now, how bad are they going to be defensively? They are going to be atrocious, I would think. Because they got really no one. They had no one last year really, but I think they need to get rid of Porter Jr. Even though he's putting up some good numbers. I think you need to give the keys to kind of Banchero and Jalen Green. But do you think they're going to improve much with him, or do you feel like it's just going to be one of those years where they play terrible, but Paolo does have a Rookie of the Year type season? Because I think they're going to be in the running for, I don't know how to say his name next year,
Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someone like him, maybe Whitehead or some. Probably, you could see it as being like a Cade Cunningham type year where, it's a poor team, but you just let the kids cook type thing.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. I mean, you got heaps of time to grow these players. Maybe even use some of those draft picks in the future to find some veteran type players or expiring contracts. You still got John Wall's contract there.
Yeah.
At the team, I think, and maybe you can try and move him on, whatever that gets you.
I think I think at this stage, the most important thing is the coaching. Like that's why I'm confident with OKC because Dagnot's really good with the young players. Whereas I haven't watched many Houston games, but I think Silas is going to need to make sure he gives them. I hope he starts Sengun, and I don't see how he doesn't now without Christian Wood being there. But I think coaching is going to be vital here. And I don't mind Silas, but fuck, he's been given a shit job.
I mean, he's got some role players already there,
yeah,
but Sterling Brown's a good defender and all that. But yeah, they probably need just a little bit of a push.
Do you reckon Boban gets any minutes?
No, probably not. I think Houston's going to be more focused on developing.
I reckon they trade him straight away, or they just give him back, or they're going to do something with him. They're not going to.
I didn't even know that I thought he was a free agent actually.
This is where it's going to start getting interesting. Who you got it for to the Kings?
Well, I don't know if it's going directly to the Kings, whether what happens on draft night or what's happening before the draft. But there has been rumors that Sacramento are sort of dangling their pick and they're willing to trade down in the draft. And I know that Jaden Ivey doesn't want to go to Sacramento, but that's who I could see going pick 4.
I have Ivy at 4 too.
No, he's easily one of the most exciting plays we've got here. His explosive first step is what helps him get to the rim a lot easier. There are parts of his game which he has shown that he can be a playmaker. So he has solid court vision. There are some worries to his game. His mid-range efficiency is a concern due to his pull-up and his lack of shot making, which limits him to sort of a finisher type player. But he's not the type of person I would want running my offense, as he's very out of control, sometimes a bit erratic. But, I see. But once he gets going on offense, he is very exciting to watch, I think. But, I still, to this point in time, I don't see him being a King.
What do you
Sacramento
think?
King player.
Hypothetically, what do you think the off the ball fit would be like with De'Aaron Fox? Do you reckon that would be a bit of a disaster or do you reckon that Ivy would actually fit half decent with Fox? That's obviously a ball dominant guard. But we've seen Fox work with other guards like obviously Tyrese Halliburton. But do you reckon that would fit it all well, or do you think that it would be a bad fit from the start?
Well, they did Tyrese Halliburton dirty. I reckon it won't be the best fit.
Yeah,
for those two on the court together.
That's another question I have at this point, because I think Ivy honestly he has to go top 4. Like if this wasn't a big man's draft, if big men weren't such, like if the teams above them didn't need big men, I honestly think that he could be a top 3 pick in this draft. But I think the Kings have done they've done stupid stuff all the time. But I think at this point, you just need to take the best player on the board, do what Philly did, even though they ended up taking like 3 big players in a row with just taking the best player available. But who do you think would get who do you think Kings would most likely trade to? Because I've seen rumors, obviously, with Thunder and Dort and pick 12 for pick 4. But God, I don't know if I would not take that deal if I'm the Kings, because Dort with Davion Mitchell, I don't think works. Because they're both obviously great defensively, but neither are consistently good shooters. They can shoot, I think, 30-odd%. But who do you think is going to go be in the trade for it?
Well, there has been, I think, because obviously I'm a Knicks fan, I look at more Knicks stuff regarding these situations. And Ian Begley has said that the Knicks are willing to move away from the 11th pick into bringing in to getting pick number 4. His agency, I think, is the same as what Leon Rose is. So I assume that would probably be the favorites at the moment, you could say. I don't think I've seen much else regarding teams going to number 4,
Yeah.
but I have seen a lot of teams sort of swaying away from Ivy.
Yeah. Who on the Knicks would Mitchell Robinson be available, or would it have to be one of those players? Because is Robinson on expiring, or did he end up getting that deal?
He's an unrestricted free agent. I think
Yeah.
he's expiring, and I don't think we have bird rights on him either, so we
Yeah.
won't be able to get like first crack at him.
Yeah.
But a sign and trade could potentially happen there. I mean, who knows? The best thing we could probably offer is whatever value Randall has left.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then
Maybe even like a Grimes or someone.
but then how would they fit that on their roster with, I don't know what contract Fox and Sabonis are on, but I'm presuming they would be on pretty large contracts, taken on a max contract for Randall.
I know Fox is on a pretty big one, but I don't know about Sabonis.
I don't know why they stuck with Fox, to be honest. Why they got rid of Halliburton instead of Fox? That's just, the Kings are going to be the Kings. So we've got Ivy at 4. Who are you got at 5? I don't know if we've got the same one at 5, but
I got Keegan Murray out of Iowa.
We have got the same number at 5.
Going to Detroit. That's all right.
It's good.
Sort of I don't know. I just saw a bit of Giannis in him on defense sometimes. He's a high-level defender that can be an elite rim protector, which makes me think that maybe there can be even a time where the Pistons can play small ball. He's a consistent spot-up shooter, and he's also an efficient finisher around the rim. He has good IQ on both sides of the court, and he can finish at an elite level in transition.
And he's like that's the thing, like they've got, it depends what you think of Saddiq Bey, really. I don't rate Saddiq Bey that highly, even though he had a 50-point game last year. He can definitely get hot, but like from what I've seen, at least stat-wise, it looks like Keegan Murray's a bit of a pure scorer from like his per 36 that I've looked at 26.5 points per game. I mean, coming out of college, I didn't see many that had similar stats to that. I think there was 2 other players in the top 10, or 1 other player in the top 10 that would have that. But I do like the fit, only because he's probably the next best forward. We're gonna get into some future ones, but do you feel like him and Cade could actually well, when you think about it, they got Marvin Bagley as well. Do you reckon those 3 could not? I'm not going to try and say that they're going to be the next big 3, but do you feel like a 3 of them, say not this coming season, but the next season, could make a playoff push type around that team, or do you feel like they'd need an extra piece still?
I don't know. You still got players. You still got Isaiah Stewart there, very underrated perimeter defender. I reckon.
I do like him.
There was a stat the other day about how him guarding certain players and how it affects them, how it affected them. So I could see potentially them maybe in the next 2 seasons, I reckon, with a bit more growth and maybe a few more veterans around the team, just helping it. But it's hard with Detroit because it's not really a big
market.
It's not really a big market, and it's not it's not really a big place. So
and it really sounds like they're going to trade Jeremy Grant. And by what I'm hearing, at least, they're going to get a lot for what I don't think Jeremy Grant's honestly worth as much as what it sounds like they're going to get for him, which is picks and maybe even a couple of players. But if they trade Grant and then just have those 3 and start like similar to the Rockets, just let the young people just do what they want, really. And they've got a good coach in Dwayne Casey to actually coach them. I mean, I think they can make a push in the next couple of years, but it'll be just interesting to see what they do with Jeremy Grant, to be honest. And they've still got Killian Hayes that hasn't worked out yet. He needs to prove himself.
I can see the Pistons moving on from Killian Hayes maybe in a trade. and look at Gaza as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can become something that what he was in college. So.
They just need to give players like that more minutes. Killian Hayes, I don't think you need to give more minutes. I think he's not a bust, but I think it's showing that he's not going to fit in that team. He doesn't really look like he's got a role to do. He can play 35 minutes and just have like 5 points and does very minimal on offense and defense. But so we're the exact same through 5 now. This is where it's surely going to change.
I'll let you go first.
At the paces, God, this is where I get iffy because this is based off all of podcasts and stuff that I've heard. But I've got AJ Griffin at 6. That might be a bit of a surprise going to the paces, but like from what I saw, 44.7% 3-point shooter. He's a big swing. I think he's now I always get him mixed up with one other player, but he's the one that's had a few injuries, hasn't he? And he was really athletic, and that's been a question mark, hasn't it? Whether he's going to be consistently healthy. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
I think so.
But I honestly think that it's either him or Keegan Murray, 5 and 6. To be honest, personally, I could be very wrong, but I think it's just the biggest swing. He can either be very good or he'll cop an injury or two, lose some athleticism. At least then he can still shoot the 3. But I have him going 6. Who do you have going 6?
I got Dyson Daniels out of the G League.
I can't argue with that because I have him sliding, but I don't know why. I personally, the only reason I don't have him at 6 is because I don't like the thought of him with Tyrese Halliburton. I just think the fit would be a bit awkward, but give us your reasoning for.
I reckon it'd be an awesome fit with those two. With them too. He's another great perimeter defender in the draft due to his ability to read the floor on that end. He can be a secondary playmaker that can make good reads and has good core vision. He has a nice touch around the rim, and he has the strength to finish through contact. He's shown his quickness and in rebounding into an outlet pass. His shooting could do with some work, like most Aussies. Maybe even work around his release. It's not quick enough to be like a spot-up shooter type, but I could see Indiana wanting a player like him on their team.
And he's not the. I think you said it somewhere there. He's not the greatest on-ball defender, but he looks, from what I've seen, he's a very good recovery defender. So, like, if he gets caught on a screen or something, he can recover pretty quickly to actually at least get some sort of contest, which I think is important because it actually shows a want to defend. Because, like, some people could easily just get caught on the screen and give up completely. But him showing that he wants to get over it and actually get a contest to it. But I can't argue with him going 6. I had him going to 8, which was a bit of a fall. But from what we're hearing, at least, that he sounds like he's probably the biggest riser in draft boards through the draft combine, which you love to hear, especially as an Aussie. What are the odds though of him going 6? 2 Aussies going pick 6 in 2 years in a row.
It'd be nice.
But it would
another
also
Aussie in the top 10 as well.
It would also be nice if you went to OKC at pick 2. All right, we'll put Dyson at 6 for the combined one. We'll go 7. You go first because
this is one that I think a lot of people are wondering is whether he can do it or not. And I got Shaden Sharp from high school, but also Kentucky, even though he never played, going to Portland. And there's not really much to go off from him because, he obviously he's just a high schooler. But from what I know and from the footage I've seen, he's a good shot maker. He has a range of shot versatility, I'd say. He maybe has potential to be one of the best scorers in the draft.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a difficult prospect because of the lack of
Mm.
footage and experience against college players. He's shown some playmaking ability and has a solid core vision. Defense is a bit lacking, but at the moment, because he struggles to sort of set his feet a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I really got from.
I have got Shaden quite a bit further down. Now, obviously, the Blazers, it's extremely possible that they trade this pick. It's been rumored ever since they got this pick that they could trade it. To it, whether it's for Jeremy Grant, whether it's for Lou Dort and pick 12 apparently. But I've got Jalen. Now I'm going to say his name wrong. Jalen Duran.
Duran, yeah.
Yeah. He's probably the best center, him or Mark Williams, available out of the last, excluding those first 3 picks, even though some of them weren't centers. But best big men at least. I think with the Blazers, Nurkic won't be there next season, or he won't be there for the full season. He doesn't sound like he wants to be there either. So with a spot opening up, if the Blazers do want to take on a rookie, which again they might or might not, I think the center spot's going to be the most viable option because they've still got Simons and Lillard as well. But I have Shaden sliding, and I will provide my reason once we get to his pick. So I'll put that you put Shaden there, and then I'll just put that I put Duran, and we'll go from there. Pick 8. Who do you have?
Got Jalen. Yeah, like you're saying, he's an elite rim protector that's very good at altering shots. He's big lob threat as well. I reckon he's good at catching the ball with force and finishing at the rim.
Yeah.
He's good vision as well, which makes he makes good reads, and he's also a dominant rebounder due to his vertical and strength. He needs a bit of work offensively. He's a bit raw. I reckon his handle could do with a bit of improvement as well. Maybe try and get a bit more of a variety of scoring. But yeah, I've got him going to the Pelicans.
Now, yes,
I see maybe Valanciunas could be leaving.
Really? I haven't. Is that like a rumor, or is that just something that you?
I could see him potentially leaving. I could see maybe even Zion leaving in the future. They're not ready to offer him the big contract yet.
Yeah. Which you can't blame them.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, thank God. My bad. I read it as Memphis as the Grizzlies. Not he played for Memphis. My bad. Oh, good. But yeah, I've got Jalen Duran.
This is where I have Dyson Daniels. So obviously he's been the biggest riser, but I think you look at the Pels. It's rumored that they're going to try and play point Zion and all this other stuff. But if hypothetically they keep Valanciunas and Zion, I've gone for more of picking Dyson here as the best fit for him, because you got Brendan Ingram that can use the ball, you got Zion that can use the ball. Then I'm probably forgetting some player that's there. But then if you put Dyson Daniels in, that's your starting lineup. I'm forgetting who the fit. Herb Jones probably maybe start him. Did he start for them last year? I'm trying to think who was their guards. It wasn't Bledsoe. No. God, I'm completely rocked. But
McCollum.
Oh yeah, McCollum. God, how did I forget about him?
And I reckon Devontae Graham and all that.
Yeah, so I think him in front of Devontae Graham, and you start with CJ McCollum and Brendan Ingram. I think that'd be a good lineup and a good fit. But it's whether Dyson's available. If he's available, I don't see how the Pelicans would pass up on him, to be honest, because I don't think they're gonna. The couple of players I got listed after them, I don't think they're going to take them because they've already got Herb Jones, who's elite defensively, or good defensively. Elite might be a stretch too far, but I have that. So I've written that down. Who have you got? Now so I haven't got my 10th pick locked in yet. So I'm going to go to you for that. But at 9, who have you got? Sharpy?
Wasn't that just number 9?
No, number 8 was Pelicans.
Yes, very good. Yes, sorry,
To
my
the
bad.
Spurs, this one.
Yep, that's good. I was just counting.
We've only
Bit
got
crook,
10
sorry.
minutes. We might have to go across two things, but we'll figure it
Uh,
out.
I got Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona.
We've done the exact same there. Let's go.
A high-level scorer, has a wide range of jump shots. He excels on the open floor with his athleticism and his ability to finish at the rim. His size and lateral movements is a big factor for him, so he'll be able to guard the 1 to 3. He took a big step with his passing ability this year as well, so he can be a secondary playmaker down the line. His handle is a little bit hit or miss, and sometimes he gets a bit lost off the ball defensively. But he has a good potential to be a quality role player.
He's one of the best defenders in this draft, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. From
He'd be around there.
him and Sohan. I forget. I don't know how to say. Is it Jeremy?
I wouldn't put him as the best one, but he'd be probably top 10.
Yeah, but I think that Spurs have been rumored to be wanting a big man. Whether that's, I don't think Duran's going to be available for them at pick 9. So really, the other option is probably Mark Williams, which I don't see him going that high, personally. But I think he'll be a good fit. Imagine that backcourt though with him and DeJounte Murray. I reckon that'd be, you've got good defending there, and then you've got Keldon Johnson at power forward, and they are a bit weak, but then they could easily, they've got heaps of space to sign someone. And obviously you hear stuff about, I don't think they're going to get Levine or anything, but you hear stuff about possibly going in for those types of players. I think they're going to try and make one push for Pop before he finishes, at least for the playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try and make big moves, but I think it'll be a good fit for them. Now, pick 10, I haven't got one, so I'm just going to let you go all out for this one.
Yeah, I got AJ Griffin.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I had at 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a great 3-point shooter. He has a nice looking jump shot as well. Shot the ball well from 3, just over 44%. He can create space when necessary, and he shows the ability to attack the rim. Looks like a James Harden when he attacks the rim, where he hides the ball, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so he can get to the line, because of the free throw line, quite often. He's a bit iffy on defense. That's an area concern. He gets stuck up top a bit, but there's always room for improvement somewhere where you're playing basketball. And I think that's just a key focus for Griffin going into this year.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment on anything because I think I've already discussed Griffin and I had him a bit higher. But your Knicks at 11, we might actually finish this in perfect timing. Who you got going to your Knickerbockers?
I got Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin.
Geez, he's a bit of a riser then.
It's a bit of a risky one, but I don't know about rookies with New York, especially with Tibbs. He doesn't like playing him anyway. So, but he's a high-level perimeter defender that is capable of defending the 1 to 3 as well. He's got good vision in passing lanes, good shot maker, and from the mid-range, and is really comfortable getting into his pull-up jumpers. Has a sort of an ambidextrous ability to finish at the rim through contact with a nice touch, and his strong frame. He's a bit inconsistent from 3, and he's a bit awkward from outside. He relies too much on his mid-range game, but he can also there'll be sometimes where he has tunnel vision. On the court as well.
Yeah. I've gone with Sohan, whether the Knicks will actually want him or not. Obviously, you've already got Mitchell Robinson, who's good defensively, but whether you keep him, I think if you don't keep him, I think Sohan would be a good fit for the Knicks, even though you would have a probably overload at power forward with Obi and stuff. But he's obviously elite defensively. And to be honest, I'd love him at OKC. I can't imagine how good it would be with him and Chet playing together. But I just think that I don't know if you would like that. I just think it'd be an interesting fit. But what do you think? Would you take him at the Knicks?
Yeah. Yeah, well,
No.
like you said, we are a bit overloaded at
Mm,
the power forward spot. I think with Obi Toppin making his push the last few weeks
yeah.
of the season to put his name out there to Tibbs, and
Mm,
hopefully next season he can be getting more minutes. But
yeah.
I don't know, maybe we could even go small ball with Toppin at the 5. That'd
Yeah.
be
That would
be
be fun to
interesting to see.
watch. That would be fun to watch. We've got 4 minutes or so here for the last pick that we're actually going to cover. Pick 12 to the Thunder. Who have you got?
I got Jeremy Sohan,
I like it.
so it doesn't really need to be touched on as much. Yeah, like you said, it'd be nice to see him and Chet play.
Well, now I need to provide my reasoning for why I have, and I want him to fall this far, but I don't think he will. But I hope he does. That's why I put him here. I've got Shad and Sharp. There's a lot of rumors coming out saying that he's absolutely bombed in the draft combine. Apparently, he's just performing terrible. Now, whether that's some people are suggesting that he's doing it on purpose so he can kind of dictate where he goes. And apparently, he's also not giving all the medical advice that he's or medical stuff that he's meant to. But one thing I did notice is he's not his agent, but whoever's directing him through the draft process, whoever's helping him out as if he was an agent, was the agent for SGA. And it's been widely rumored that he ideally wants to go to OKC, whether it's 2 or 12, because he knows that he's going to get more time to mature. Obviously, he hasn't played, didn't play college and straight out of high school, basically. Do you reckon that would be a good fit for OKC, though? Obviously, I haven't seen a great deal of him. I'm just going based off what I've heard from podcasts and all the information going around about his combine and what's going on with his agent. But what do you think about that fit?
Yeah, it could be a good fit. Like there's just not much to go off on this guy, other than the hype that's surrounding him. That's about it.
And you just hope he doesn't get injured or something, and it just ruins the hype, like a Zion or like Greg Oden or something. But that's it. That's our 12. Do you have anything you'd like to comment? Any players that you wouldn't be surprised if they got into that top 12 that we didn't name?
Probably like Hugo Besson out of the NBL.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even a Ty Washington. Could potentially see him.
I saw a few boards with Jang on there as well, which surprised me. I don't reckon he's going to go top 12.
Oh, yeah, that's what
but
I
I
meant.
reckon he'll go top 15.
Hugo. And also Nikola Jovic as well.
Oh, yes. I do. I've seen some of his highlights, actually, only because it sounds similar to Jokic. I went and looked it up. But thanks for joining us. We will be covering this on Friday. Hopefully, Sharpy's very hopeful that he's actually going to be able to join us.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I've got it all listed down here. So how many do you think we'll get right? I think we're getting the first 3 right. I think we can get at least 6, to be honest.
I was shooting for 8. I reckon we can get 8 right.
All right. So I'm gonna say I go for 6 and Sharpy goes for 8, and we'll see how we go. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Sharpy.
Not too easy.
And we will see you on Friday for a live stream of the draft. Bye.